It's time for us to step up at home and build a new world order where democracy and Canadian sovereignty is protected.
Mr. Carney, you're up next.
I'm going to agree with that.
We will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order.
It's just the way it is. We've got to accept that this is the New World Order. We've got to accept that this is the New World Order.
And now's the time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it.
So that was not Biden's first time talking about a new world order, and it was not the first time that the people behind Joe Biden have been talking about a new world order. In fact, they've been on this mission for a very, very long time.
A new world order.
A new world order.
New world order.
The international order.
Soros was even more explicit about this idea that the U.S. Cannot be in charge of the world order anymore.
So I think you need a new world order, that China has to be part of the process of creating it.
But right now, it's a critical time because we know that we not only fight for Ukraine, we fight for this new world order for the democratic countries.
I believe we, and particularly you, your class, has an incredible window of opportunity to lead in shaping a new world order for the 21st century.
For the international order that we have worked for generations to build.
Create a new world order, because the global order is changing again.
To get ahead, we've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
What do you say to those families who say, listen, we can't afford to pay $4.85 a gallon for months, if not years. This is just not sustainable.
Well, what you heard from the president today was a clear articulation of the stakes. This is about the future of the liberal world order, and we have to stand firm.
The New World Order was a term popularized by George H.W. Bush in a couple speeches that are now being suppressed. This was back at the start of the first Iraq War, the Gulf War.
The opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
I don't know about that. Wait, the UN is now going to just go in and kind of run all these different countries? I don't know about that. So when I heard this Australian politician use the phrase New World Order,
we will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order.
I said, where have I heard that? Oh, I heard that from George Bush. Let me look up that speech. So I look it up on YouTube, and the speech won't come up. The clip won't come up. Actually, what comes up is some other speeches of George Bush, and then a header, like a little disclaimer that says the New World Order is a conspiracy theory, and it's not real, and it's to totally ignore this. There's nothing to see here. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. You say, wait, what? Nothing says the New World Order is a conspiracy quite like burying the clips of the speech of the New World Order and telling you it doesn't exist, right? That's, yeah, okay. And having the largest corporation on earth do that. Yeah, that assuages my fears. Okay, now but of course that's what this is.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
Close your window, go back inside your house.
Sir.
Go back inside right now!
I am inside.
We have a real chance at this new world order. An order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
After 1989, President Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order, and instead it looks like we got a lot of disorder.
It's been a long time coming because of what we did on this day. At this defining moment, change has come to America.
President Obama and British Prime Minister Gordon today calling for a new world order to tackle our global economic crisis.
The affirmative task we have now is to actually create a new world order.
Its task will be to develop an overall strategy for America
in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity.
That's why I wanted to speak to you today about the new world taking shape around us, about the prospects for a new world order now within our reach.
Does capitalist democracy still work? Let's wonder if our children can count on capitalist democracy's essential promise of a future more prosperous than our present. If democratic societies can rise to the existential challenge of climate change.
Thank you, Professor Schwab, for your warm welcome. I'd like to take a moment just off the top to recognize a founder of the World Economic Forum and a great Canadian, Maurice Strong. Maurice Strong.
He was asked which country he most admired and referred to China.
The level of admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime and say we need to go green as fast as we need to start, investing in solar.
It will be a world which will combine significant investments into the future, at the same time social responsibility. Now, who could represent such a world better than you, Prime Minister?
Thank you, Professor Schwab, for your warm welcome. Today, we are gathered here to contemplate whether we are in the stages of the fourth industrial revolution about to begin. What a breathtaking possibility that is.
Building back better means getting support to the most vulnerable while maintaining our momentum on reaching the 2030 agenda for sustainable development and the SDGs.
They are now pushing the Great Reset, where everything will have to be transformed, including your mindset and your behavior. The head of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, he says all aspects of our societies and economies need to be revamped. Even our thinking and our behavior will have to dramatically shift. He said we need a new social contract. It's got to be centered on social justice. He says that every country from the United States to China must participate, and every industry from oil and gas to tech must be transformed. We need stronger and more effective government. We must build entirely new foundations for our economic and social systems. This is all direct from Klaus Schwab, the head of the World Economic Forum.
Our old systems are not fit anymore for the 21st century. It has laid bare the fundamental lack of social cohesion, fairness, inclusion, and equality. Now is the historical moment, the time to shape the system for the need for the post-corona era.
He goes on to say that the most important issue is a shift in all of our mindsets. And they're not kidding. If you want to know what kind of shift they're talking about, basically just take all the things that the Bible talks about, man, woman, family, mother, father, children, private property, be fruitful and multiply, all those things that God teaches in the Bible, flip them exactly upside down, and voila. You understand the new mindset that they are pushing us toward. Schwab himself explained what this means in 2016. He said it's a revolution that will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and relate to one another. This transformation, he says, is going to be unlike anything humankind has experienced before. We're going to bring together all the stakeholders of the global polity. And he says this revolution is going to blur the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. Agenda 2030 is basically the UN's roadmap for humanity going forward. They want to achieve this stuff by 2030. They want everybody so brainwashed, all the kids are going to not just accept sustainable development, but promote it. Go down to goal number 10. We have to have global wealth redistribution. This is a direct quote from Agenda 2030. We need to reduce inequality within and among countries. This is only going to be possible if wealth is shared and income inequality is addressed, right? All this is going to be brought in through the UN Agenda 2030. And it's no surprise, the World Economic Forum and the United Nations actually signed a partnership last year. It's called a Strategic Partnership Framework, where the WF agreed to help the UN implement Agenda 2030. Their role is going to be bringing in the private sector, so-called the mega banks, the major corporations, big pharmaceutical companies on board with the UN agenda. Now, at the unveiling of this Great Reset, you also had the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, an actual socialist. He was actually the leader of the Socialist International before taking over the UN, and he just loves this thing. I mean, he says the Great Reset is a welcome recognition that this human tragedy must be a wake-up call, must build a more equal, inclusive, and sustainable economies and societies, and blah, blah, blah. You can go watch the video. Incredible stuff. Then you had the head of the IMF, one of the 4 leaders unveiling this monstrosity. She talked about this very massive fiscal stimulus that they're injecting into the global economy, but they're going to use this, she said, to force everybody to submit to their green world order. It's going to be fairer and smarter.
This has been out there for 20 years, and most of us were completely unaware of it.
The people of the world have asked us to shine a light on a future of promise and opportunity. Member states have responded with agenda.
It's Agenda 21, the agenda for the 21st century. So this is not something that, just a bunch of people are out there making up. This is real. It's a plan to remove humans and human activity from rural and suburban areas.
Let us today pledge to light the path to this transformative vision.
It's been implemented in our country, and it has been supported by every president ever since.
As president, I must put the interests of America first.
So you're going to be concerned about this not just as Americans, but as free human beings. And this is a world plan. It is a blueprint. It's the action plan to inventory and control all land, all water, all plants, all animals, all minerals, all construction, all means of production, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. It doesn't get any more comprehensive than that, does it? It's a global plan, but it's implemented locally. And this is what you need to know about it. It is implemented locally. It is in every single city, town, hamlet in the entire United States right now. We're not talking about something that's out there in the ether that's not impacting you today. It is happening now. It's the biggest public relations scam in the history of the world. But it is far more than that. It's the agenda for the 21st century, and it is a recipe for destruction. It enables and justifies monitoring and metering and restricting our energy and water usage, and you'll see that as smart meters, right? Sinking our economy, bleeding our transportation budget with high-cost trains to nowhere, revamping the school system by inserting sustainable development principles into every course from pre-kindergarten all the way to postgraduate school, declaring our public lands off limits to humans, changing every land use document in the nation to require high-density housing in city centers to more easily monitor, surveil, and control us. It's a global totalitarian state, and it is happening now. It's happening without any flashing lights. You're not going to see it called Agenda 21. It's a stealth plan, and it's happening in plain sight. Every takeover has its own philosophy, and this one does too, and it's called communitarianism. It's the overarching political and social philosophy that goes with this plan. It's
Only
communitarianism.
on Motiveholic.
And what is that? It says that the individual's rights have to be balanced with the rights of the community. Now, our Constitution guarantees us our individual rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, whatever that may be. But communitarianism says that it's all for the common good, that the individual's rights need to be balanced with the rights of the community. Now, we don't know what the community's rights are because they're not delineated. They're not written anywhere. They can change at any time. They're those amorphous rights that it's living, it's growing, it's moving, it's changing, it's whatever they say it is. So you're going to balance your individual rights with the rights of the community, and guess what? The individual always loses. The community's rights are always heavier. There's more community than there is individual. We're all individuals, but together we're the community. Who speaks for us is the question, right? A crisis is created, okay? And then a solution is posed. The balance between these is the new normal. Now, you never would have agreed to that new normal if it weren't for that heavy crisis. But now you got to do something, right? You're in a panic. And now, without that crisis pressuring you, you would never have accepted that new solution. They came back, 1992, with Agenda 21. This is it. It's a real thing, believe it or not. It is an inventory and control plan. This is what they do. They're inventorying you, your use of energy. It's what you take in and what goes out. They're monitoring and measuring cities. The two parts of Agenda 21 are imposed. And that is smart growth, which is moving populations into concentrated city centers and restricting mobility, where we can be more easily monitored, controlled, and surveilled. And the other part, the wildlands. And that's getting people out of rural areas and suburban areas, blocking their access to wilderness, roads, and resources, and shifting land ownership from private to public. This is what this is about, is taking away our private land ownership. All totalitarian states share the same characteristics. Total control of property and means of production. Total information, surveillance, loss of free speech, and restricted movement. They also share a philosophy, a common philosophy, and that is the philosophy that it's all for the common good. Yes, the individual is selfish. It's all for the common good. And what else? It's the Spartan present. Austerity. You've got to restrict your usage. You've got to reduce your usage. This is not about conservation. This is not about the environment. This is about inventory and control of you.
Only on Motiveholic.
This is a takeover of our nation. This is an administrative coup d'etat, and it is happening right now, and we are really in the end game now. This is what it looks like. It's worldwide. This is an unelected shadow government, and it is sold to you as an economic driver. That's what you're told. You can't compete, Little Dover. You're not going to be able to compete unless you join together in a region. It's the region. It's all about the region, right? This non-existent, unelected board and commission. These regional plans are the same all across the United States. It doesn't matter which city it is. It's all the same plan. Now, we're paying millions and millions of dollars to consultants to come up with these plans, these regional plans that are directing and restricting what we can do with our land. They have climate action plans as part of them. Some of those climate action plans say that you can't have drive-thrus anymore. You like stopping to grab something on your way somewhere? No, no, no. That is not walkable and bikeable. I don't know, I guess you can't ride your bike through there. Okay, no more drive-thrus in my town. This is coming your way. You haven't seen it here yet? You will. Okay, this is where it goes. This is all part of sustainable development. This is, I haven't gotten off topic one time. This is sustainable development. Agenda 21, sustainable development, restricting, controlling, inventory. This is it. They're using our money. They're taking our money. They are sinking our economy. This is designed to fail. That's what's so incredible about it. When you see these regions, you're going to see livable community partnerships, sustainable communities, one planet communities. These are all part of Agenda 21. So here's the other piece of Agenda 21, and that is the wildlands. And excuse me, but that's where you live. That's right. That's where we are, the wildlands. It's a plan to remove humans and human activity from rural and suburban
Only
areas.
on Motiveholic.
Now, they use extreme population projections to say, hey, we're eating up all the farmland. We're building all over our farmland. We can't let that happen. You look around at each other because you are looking at the resistance. This is what the resistance looks like. And we are all across the country, and we're a lot stronger than we think.